Hi everyone. How are we all doing? How's it going? Settle into my seat, do my little scoochie in here, have my beautiful hot coffee that I made earlier, and I didn't have the coffee pot on because I was in a rush, and I had a nice cold pot of coffee, so I had to make another one. So just a lesson to slow down and just take my time and stop getting ahead of myself. I'm sure that we all do that. So I wanted to focus this week in our practice on just really being in the moment. And I know I say that and we all try and do it, but when we're doing our practice, sometimes we're even thinking, oh my gosh, I want to get through this so I can go and do whatever I need to do. Check it off my list for the day. Yes, I did my yoga this morning, makes me great. But really, much more than that, why are we doing our yoga practice? Why are we coming to the mat? And just taking time just to be here on this mat. If you are, going to drink your cup of coffee, enjoy your cup of coffee or tea or whatever it is that you enjoy, to bring you into your day. That first sip of coffee is just so good. Enjoy it. Or that first sip of tea, that warmth that goes down into the belly, you can feel it, experience it. Same thing when we eat. Sometimes or most of the time, we're just rushing through it, and instead of just enjoying each bite and savoring the flavors, and even when you're making your meals, don't rush through making your meals. The energy that you put into preparing your food actually gets into the food. And if you're in a rush and if you're frantic when you're making it, do you want to then ingest that food? Instead, just be very mindful of picking the food. And in yoga we want sattvic food, so food that is light and food that is not too ripe, not ripe enough. We want to find that middle ground where it's just palatable for us to put into our bodies. And again, each of us has a different constitution, so what I can digest easily might not be the same for you. So it's finding again those foods that work specifically for you. And I can tell you, your body will tell you what it likes and what it doesn't like. And if you pay attention after you eat, you should feel better after you eat. You shouldn't feel worse. So if you're feeling worse after you eat, then maybe notice what are you eating, how are you eating, how are you preparing your food that you're going to ingest. So on that note, we're going to get started with our practice. So I'm just going to have a nice sip of my coffee here, and then we're going to come into just doing some nice stretches and just move into a nice routine to just be really grounded and just practice being in the moment with our practice. So I'm just going to have a sip and then we'll get started. All right, so we're going to come into, again, just sitting in easy posture. Just gaining some length in the spine, sitting up nice and tall. Tune into that breath. As we're tuning in and listening to the song Over the Rainbow, playing on, I don't want to say the name or the device, or she'll change it on me. So Over the Rainbow, it's a reminder of the story of the Wizard of Oz, and I love this story because it has such a good moral lesson for us. Not moral lesson, but a good lesson. Dorothy wanted to, find a life over the rainbow outside of her existence. She goes off and to the land of Oz and ends up back where she started, back in her own home, back with gratitude in her heart for her family. and her situation. So it's a really good, valuable lesson that life is here. Life is in the here and now. It's not something that's going to exist a year from now or 10 years from now or decades from now. And it's not what's already happened in the past. Yes, we want to learn from the past. We don't want to repeat old patterns that are not healthy, but we also don't want to not live our life now because we're anticipating a life that we don't even know is going to happen, or how it's going to happen, how it's going to play out. We don't know. So just learning to be very grateful and learning to be in the moment as much as we can, making the choices now that are based on our higher good and how it will create a better life in the future. Not worrying about a better life, but what choices can we make right now, today, in this moment, that will contribute to the better for ourselves and for the better of our society. It's not just about each individual. My individual choices will affect you, and vice versa. Your choices will affect me. So we are all on this planet breathing the same air, each and every one of us. The air provided by the planet that we live on. We don't have to buy it. We don't have to do anything. It's provided for us. And how much of that do we take for granted? So just really coming into that space. So again, off on a tangent. So let's come back into closing our eyes and just being with that breath. Let's move into some rounds of some square breathing. So we're going to inhale to 4. We're going to suspend and hold the breath to 4. Exhale to 4. Suspend the breath again. So let's do that for a few rounds. One more round. And then just drop the chin down towards the chest. And let's experience that nice stretch. Bring the head back to center. Gaze over the left shoulder. Stay there for a few breaths. Again, just noticing, what does the stretch feel like? Where do you feel the stretch? How are you experiencing sitting with it? Are you feeling the urge to move? Or do you just just want to enjoy the stretch. And back to center on that inhale. Same thing, gazing over the right shoulder. And back to center, and this time I'm going to take a nice inhale, extend and reach those arms up. Take a breath. As you exhale, twist to the left as right hand comes to the outside of that left knee. Left hand behind. Again, we're just going to hold that nice little twist. Inhale those arms back up. Same thing, exhale over to the other side. Stay with a few breaths here. And try not to get lazy in collapsing the spine. I just caught myself kind of just going down there. Just pressing that hand behind you and just keeping that length very active, even though it's a nice gentle twist. And let's come back to that center point, and then we're going to straighten those legs. Just having the legs straight, give them a little shaky shake. Again, I'm just sitting just on the edge of my cushion, just to keep my sit bones up a bit. And just give those legs a little shake. Flex the feet, point the feet, flex. Just really stretching out the calves, backs of the legs. And then hold that flex. And coming into Dandasana, pressing the palms into the mat. And just sitting up nice and tall. So if you have short arms like myself, you can have a block or something here to help press, but again, just sometimes our arms are a little too long and we can't get them straight, and that's okay too. So again, whatever works best for you. It's just trying to stack your tailbone right below the crown of your head and just creating that length again in the spine. Opening up through the heart space. And your legs are very active, so you're pressing those legs into the mat, flexing the feet. Close your eyes and breathe. And then on your next exhalation, we're going to bring that left knee in and we're going to hug it in. Again, try not to collapse through the spine. Sit up nice and tall. And I'm going to cross that leg, if you can, over the right leg. Hug it in. And then take that right arm out to the side. Take a breath. And then as you exhale, just hug in. I'm going to have to come off my cushion there. And again, just a nice gentle twist to the left. And just stay here for a few breaths. Again, try and resist the urge to come out of the pose too quickly. Stay with it. release. Same thing, other side, hug it in. Take a breath, relax the shoulders. And cross that foot over. Same thing, nice breath. Inhale, extend, and then exhale, hug it in. Gentle twist or turn. Just opening up through the hip flexors here, that glute muscle, I can feel that tension there. I haven't stretched this for a few days, so it's feeling a little resistant. So we'll give it some time just to stretch out. Back to center, let's release again. I'm just going to come down to the mat. Again, I have a little bolster here. I have a block, I have my cushion. Not sure how much props you guys have in your space, but we don't always need them. So I'm going to come all the way down into Shavasana, our most favorite place to be. Palms facing up. Feet just comfortably apart. And again, we're just going to take a moment just to tune in. Come back to the awareness of that breath. Let's really lengthen that exhale. Let's inhale to the count of 6. Let's see if we can really get that exhale down to an 8 or 10 count. So let's give it a try. Inhale to 6. Exhale to 10. Inhale to 6. Exhale to 10. One more. Relax the breath and just see if you can just melt into that mat for a few moments of just letting go. Just let go. Leave your burden on the mat, whatever it is today. This time is just for you. You have nowhere to go, no place to be, but in this moment right now. Enjoy this moment. Next exhalation, let's bring the knees in. Hands come to the knees, and we're just going to do some circles in one direction. And then we'll go in the other. Little circles. And then just bring the soles of the feet together. The hands still remain on the knees and do big circles out Just again, opening those hips up. And then reverse. And then hug knees in, palms facing down. And just working on a bit of core work just to really focus on that lower pelvic floor. So just kind of press down through the pelvic floor. And then take those legs and bring them over to the left. And just about the time those feet come to the mat, we're going to sweep them back into center. Inhale them in. Same thing other side. Keep them as close to your body as you can. Just really, you'll feel a bit of a burn in your solar plex, and that's okay. Inhale to center. Same thing. And then we get to the other side. We're just going to let the knees drop down there. I'm going to hang out of that bliss pose. And then if you want to just make that stretch just a little more intense, you can straighten those legs, coming into more of a lateral stretch. And you're going to really feel a good twist in that waist there. Stay with that nice stretch. Let's bring it back, bring the knees in. And you don't have to straighten the legs, you can just go into bliss pose if you like. Same thing, other side. In our day-to-day activities, we don't often do movements that are lateral, so this is a good, just to really keep everything supple in the spine. This is all about our spine health. We want to keep it asymmetrical, so just having symmetry on both sides. Whatever we do to one side, we try and repeat on the other. And let's come back to that center point, so bring those knees in. We're going to hug them in. This time on an exhale, we're going to bring that chin up towards the knees, and we're going to squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. It's like we're squeezing a lemon. We're going to press those heels up. And just hold for a nice double hamstring stretch here. You can lay your head back to the mat if you like. And then we're just going to reach those arms up and just drop those shoulders down. Flex those feet, very active. Don't, or try not to bend the knees. Try and really press up through actively. Maybe you want to do that a few times. Just to really feel that stretch. Sometimes we just get a little complacent and we just kind of just hang out there, which is fine, but we also want to keep it active. And then bring those arms down in kind of like a goddess position, coming into our Supta Baddha Konasana, so soles of the feet together, let the knees drop off, but bring the arms in kind of like that goddess position. This is good for just correcting, that curve in the thoracic part of our spine. Again, as we get older, we start to slouch, and that starts to round, so this is a good one just to correct. If you can't get your arms like this, that's okay. Just do whatever you can. Maybe you just want to bring them up overhead if that's more comfortable, or just like this. So again, just whatever one feels best for you today. We'll just stay here for a few breaths. Let's focus on lengthening that breath again. So again, you want to make your exhale longer than that inhale. So if you can't comfortably exhale to 10, that's okay. Just shorten your inhale to 4 and then try 8 as an exhale. Feels good to stretch, doesn't it? Just stretching things out. And then bring those knees back in. Hug them in once again, a nice little rock from side to side, that lower back. It's a little massage. And then cross those ankles over and do a nice little rock and roll to come up. And I'm going to come into, I don't know if you guys all have a bolster. If you don't have a bolster, maybe stop the video and get yourself a nice firm blanket or even a couple firm blankets. So what I want to do is show you kind of a modified plow pose. So the stretch that we just did, opening up the lower or the thoracic spine. Again, that area doesn't get a lot of movement in our daily day-to-day life, but it gets a lot of stress. So those of us that sit at computers all day, or where tasks are sitting all day or repetitive, you're slouching and you're collapsing the chest, and it just creates a lot of tension in the neck and in the shoulders. So yoga poses are designed specifically to help alleviate that or help to correct these misalignments. So again, I want you to be careful and cautious with these poses, especially if you have any problems with your neck, osteoarthritis, anything like that. So please be extra cautious and just listen always to your own body as much as you can. But this is just a very a modified version of plow pose. So we just want to get a little bit of height. So I'm going to use this blanket, and this is a pretty firm bolster. So I'm just going to put it like so. And then you just kind of play with it a bit just to get the height. Again, for you it might be a little different than for me. So it's kind of like a supported bridge pose to start with. So we're going to come down and just use the bolster just to support this lumbar spine, or the lower part of the spine. So I want to make sure my shoulders are supporting the weight. So I don't want the weight to be on my neck at all. So when I start to lift my knees up, I'm going to make sure that my shoulder blades are supporting me. So we're going to just bring those knees up, and we've done the waterfall in class, so it's very similar to that. So just pressing the legs up. But the waterfall, the legs are more straight up, so this is more for your legs up the wall, which is good. More of a restorative pose. But I want to get just a little bit more attention to right about the shoulder blade area. So you're just going to start to bring the legs back, and you might feel that shift, and then maybe just reach up. And then you just want to hang out here for a bit and just feeling just a little bit of weight happening in the shoulder blade areas. And you can bring your arms down if you like. And just feel that nice stretch, and you'll probably feel a little bit in the lower spine as well. So just allowing the bolsters or the blankets to give you just a little bit of support there. And if you like, you can reach for your toes, and you want to bring it a little bit deeper. Bring those feet back down and just hang out into that nice supported bridge pose now. So now we have that support beneath us. And then just very carefully, we're going to come back up. So whatever comfortably gets you out of this position. to rock and roll back up. And then we can also use the bolsters like so. So just get a little bit of, so again, the plow pose can be pretty intense. I cannot do the full plow pose because of my lower back. So modifications are the way to go when you can't do a full pose. So I'm going to come just a little further back down on my mat, and then I'm going to just kind of distance that. And then coming up and over, again you can use, I guess I should have been a little further down. So the idea again is to get the weight on the shoulder blades, not on the neck. And then the legs can come back. And my feet do not reach the mat. The full plow pose, the feet would reach the mat. And then if you like, you can move that into the shoulder stand. So again, the weight is on the shoulders, not on the neck. And those knees in. Again, you can kind of move back and forth if you like. Try to get those elbows in. My elbows are out too far. And let's come back down, back into our seated position. Good, so again, be careful if you're gonna try that at home. Maybe have somebody to spot you if you haven't tried it before. So again, you don't want the weight to land in your neck. You want it to land right across the scapula, right across your shoulders.